Hello everyone, Andy Schwab here with your Northern Ag TV. Well, Congress once again narrowly avoided a government shutdown over the weekend after the House and the Senate both voted in favor of a short-term funding bill. That bill, as you may know, funds the federal government to operate through mid-March and keeps a lot of the ag provisions that the original legislation text had included, which does include $31 billion in aid for farmers to deal with natural disasters and economic challenges. That, of course, consisted of nearly $21 billion to help producers with disaster losses during the past 2 years and another $10 billion in economic assistance through a formula laid out in the bill. In addition, the bill provides an extension of the current Farm Bill through September 30th of 2025. One measure, though, that did not make it through those negotiations was a provision that would have allowed year-round sales of E15. And the Bureau of Land Management issued their record of decision and approved that resource management plan for the Rock Springs field office last Friday. They say the plan incorporates significant feedback from local stakeholders, including Governor Gordon's task force. The approved RMP would have had an emphasis, or does I should say, on conservation for the nearly 3.6 million acres of public land and is being met with a lot of opposition from ag groups and lawmakers, including Governor Gordon himself. Now, U.S. Senator John Barrasso said this is yet another misguided and malicious midnight rule, pointing out the record of decision came only 2 days after Governor Gordon appealed the BLM's response to the governor's consistency review. Now, Barrasso added that he's looking forward to working with the Trump administration to repeal the disastrous rule. And wrap it up before we look at the ag markets. The Montana Stockgrowers Association is encouraging producers to submit formal comments sharing their concerns with the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee's scientific report. Now, that committee, as you may recall, believes that the public should consume less animal protein. However, Stockgrowers wants everyone to share their thoughts with the USDA on the vital role that beef plays in a nutritious diet. Let's take 60 seconds to thank our sponsors and be back to look at some of your ag markets.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Talking with someone that you know is stressed out, those are difficult things to approach, but if you're good friends with those people, reach out and say, I'm here to talk to you. We can find somewhere to get some assistance. It's hard to get involved, but at the same time, you want to just say, hey, there is help available.
For more tips in dealing with stress in agriculture or for free counseling for egg producers, visit beyondtheweather.com.
Well, following that neutral cattle on feed report coming out on Friday, the cattle futures reacted in a mixed fashion to begin the week. Overall, the report pegged most of the numbers where traders anticipated them to be, including the placements figures being 4% below year-ago levels as the stoppage of the live cattle imports from Mexico were finally realized in a USDA report. However, on a positive spin, the cattle market in the month of November was slightly higher than expected. That offered feeder cattle futures a little bit of hope, with higher cash cattle from last week not being enough to bring the live cattle futures to the upside. For the local auctions, we're going to see a big slump of the sales for the next 2 weeks, with the holidays landing back-to-back on those hump days. One market, though, that we can look back on is the annual Northland Bred Cow and Heifer Special from Friday, where demand was strong for young bred cows and short-term bred cows, as they too are offering a quick return on investment for the producers, with the coal cow prices remaining elevated. Also seeing softer head counts on the final sale of the year was Newell sheep yards, as the strongest test that is came from the coal ewes, as they were mostly steady to the previous week. And wheat markets finally had their day in the spotlight after a week's worth of struggles depressed the markets by 10 to 15 cents. World wheat news is then to begin the week, though, as harvest is quickly advancing, over 3/4 complete in Argentina, with yield reports being mixed depending on the area of the country observed. But overall, those conditions being reported are an improvement over 2023. Other world wheat news coming from Australia. Well, the wheat prospects also continue to be very good despite some recent weather issues. Now, the corn market waits in limbo to further confirmation of the supply side of the balance sheet from South America in 2025, as well as what the USDA says regarding the finalization of that 2024 domestic production here in the U.S. Well, that's going to do it for our Northern Ag TV. I'm Andy Schwab. Have a great rest of your day.